Hey guys, Zanzo here and welcome back to a new video. Now, I'm sure as for most of you Championship fans have been scrolling on Twitter looking at what players your club could be signing. Now, I have one player who I think your club should sign. Let's go. Now, starting off with the League One champions, Birmingham. I've gone with Ben Davies at centre-back. Was solid on loan for them from Rangers last season. He kept 23 clean sheets. And for a team that might not be in the top half next season, a defence like that is very crucial. So I think he's a big name that they need to keep hold of. Blackburn next. And I've decided to upgrade their attacking force here with Vinko Rosic. He's a 21-year-old Bosnian, and last season in the league he got 7 goals and 1 assist in 16 games. That's decent for a youngster, and as I say, the owner hasn't been putting in a lot of money at all recently. So even as a cheap deal for a player with a lot of potential, a position, as I say, that they need, that could be a big deal. So Vinko Rosic at the wing. Bristol City next. Now, 2 years ago, they signed Robert Dickey from QPR, and he seemed to have done pretty good for them. So why not go for Jimmy Dunn, who was immense for them last season, keeping 10 clean sheets for a team that finished 15th. That's really good. And I think if you could get him to a team who will be desperate to bounce back after losing in the playoffs to Sheffield United with a solid defence like that, I think that could come very key. We've now got another promoted team in Charlton Athletic. Congratulations for them. The first time they'll be in the Championship for 5 years. And I think they'll be quite comfortable, to be fair. I like Matt Godden as a striker, but I think I'll go with a Spurs centre-back in Ashley Phillips. Played 35 times for Stoke last season, keeping 13 clean sheets, and was a part of a very good defence that season. Maybe attack, they struggled to get goals, but defensively was very good. And if they could get him off a player who was very good in the Championship last season, that could be very key. And you know what, with that team, they could finish near mid-table. It's a very good side they've got. Coventry up next, and wow, the heartbreak they must have felt on that playoff semi-final. They were so close, and they have a really good team to fight back for it next year. However, I've gone with Kesler Hayden. He was really good at Preston last season. He's a right back. However, if they could convert him to a left back, because Jake Bidwell's getting on a bit, then they really can push for promotion next season. Derby County up now, and another loan signing in Jerry Yates. Scored 4 goals in his spell with them last season and was a massive help in keeping them up. If they want to push up the league table next season and get some goals, then it will be very crucial to keep him. Now we've got Hull City, and I've decided to go with a player called Redar Lalui. Definitely butchered that. He's a player who got 4 goals and 3 assists last season, but he's only 20 years old, and with bags of potential, he could be just what Hull City need during a time that is almost desperate for them after last season. Ipswich up next, and it looks like they're going to be losing Liam Delap, so maybe an obvious one would be a striker. However, they've still got Amari Hutchinson, who's a very good young player for them. They've also been leaking goals from the back all season, so I've decided to go with a player they've been linked with, Millwall's Tanganga. If they can get him in, that'll be an unreal signing for Ipswich. He's been very good since he's coming from Millwall for Championship level. He's still kind of young as well. He's a rock at the back, so if they can bring him in and go back to the Premier League, I think it could be a good deal for Tanganga and Ipswich. Now we've got Leicester, and it looks like they've been looking for a goalkeeper to be the new number 1. There was discussions about Kellier, but I can't see him dropping down to the Championship. So I've gone with a 23-year-old from Serbia called Alexander Vulic. He's a 6'7" giant and probably only cost about $1 million. He could be an absolute bargain and a good goalkeeper to take them back to the Premier League. Middlesbrough now, and it's no surprise that they'll be looking for a striker this window. And let's be real, Iheanacho, who was a real disappointment for them last season. So I've gone with David Strelec. He's a player who's represented Slovakia at national level, scored 7 goals for them, and he got 15 goals last season. And you know, the Slovakian league to the Championship might be a different story, but he's a 6'1" target man, and he could be a crucial striker in helping Middlesbrough get to that playoffs, which they've been close to for so long now. Millwall up next, and we spoke earlier about losing Tanganga. But if that's the case, I've got the replacement, and it's Bashiri Kazonga, a 24-year-old centre-back currently at Hibernian, and he looks like a pretty good player. He's 6'1", good in the air, scored 3 goals in the Scottish Premiership as well, so he could be the ideal replacement. We've got Norwich now, and Callum Doyle kept 6 clean sheets when he was in the team on loan last season. I certainly don't see him getting in the Man City side with all their stars, but if Norwich want to push for the playoffs next season, then this could also be one where it's a great move all round. Now we move on to Oxford, and after last season they have to be happy with most of the squad. However, I feel like the middle of the pitch might need a little work, so I've gone with Ryan Ledson, a familiar name to Oxford when he went to Preston in 2018. But this season, he's been struggling a bit with game time. So I think if they could bring him in, he knows the fans, he knows the club, and I think it'll be a great move for him as well. And now we move on to Portsmouth, and a team who did really well to stay up comfortably last season. But I've decided to go with Irfan Kaveci. Looks like a decent player, 29-year-old from Turkey. He's an attacking midfielder, in my opinion, which is where they need to strengthen. Scored 20 goals for Fenerbahce. I think he could be quite cheap. It could be a good bit of business as well. Preston North End next, and once upon a time, there was a Freddie Woodman who helped get Swansea to a playoff final. Well, nowadays it looks like his time is coming to an end. He made quite a few costly mistakes for them last season, and he conceded 10 goals in their last 5. I think it's time for a fresh replacement. I'll go with Sam Tickle from Wigan. He's a 23-year-old, and they've been linked with him for quite a while now. QPR next, and they've already sealed the deal for Karamoko Dembele. Massive signing for them. He looks decent, 22 years of age as well. However, they need to go into the market for a goal scorer, and I've decided to put down Davies, Kelly or Dunn. They've already got Jimmy Dunn, who I said was player of the season. Go check that out after this video. But Davies got 18 goals for Barnsley last season, and if he could bring any of that to the Championship, then QPR could have a serious squad next season. Now we've got Sheffield United and the absolute heartbreak in the 94th minute at Wembley. I've looked at their squad and I think they need a centre-back, and I've gone with Brighton's Igor Julio. He's obviously a centre-back, but he hasn't been getting much game time for Brighton this season. So maybe, even if it's a loan, he's in his prime as well. He's 27, so this could be a good snatch. Future Zanzo here. For Sheffield Wednesday, I did go with Brandon Williams, but he's now going to prison, so that's now been scrapped. But I'll go with Matt Targett. He's not been getting into Newcastle over Livramento. I'm not sure if he will drop down to the Championship, but if he does, then he'll be a superb addition to a Championship side. Now, there's no denying last season Southampton were a mess. Defensively really poor. And I think Max Johnson from Sturm Graz could be the deal. A 21-year-old recently got into the Scottish national team, and he really made a breakthrough last season in the Austrian League. So hopefully he can bring that to England and help Southampton get back to the Premier League. And now we've got Stoke, and I've decided to go with Lucas Harasalin. He's a left midfielder from Sparta Prague. He scored 28 goals in 65 games. He seems like a Stoke signing, and for 6 foot he seems kind of quick as well. He could be a great addition for them. Now, my team. I know you're all wondering, who have I gone with for Watford? There's no denying we are desperate for a striker, and I've decided to go with David Fofana. He scored 4 goals for Burnley in 2022, but that was in the Premier League. If he's willing to come on loan to the Championship and we find his form, then I reckon he could possibly get 10 goals for us next season. West Brom now, and I've decided to go with a bit of an interesting one. I've gone with Harry Darling from Swansea. They need a centre-back as they're currently relying on a 33-year-old Kyle Bartley, who just seems to be falling behind the other West Brom players. And Darling was part of a Swansea team that kept 14 clean sheets last season. West Brom need to be pushing for the playoffs, so strengthening their defence is a must. Last but not least, it's newly promoted Wrexham. Crazy now that they're in the Championship, just 3 years ago in the National League. They're looking for a striker. Jamie Vardy and Callum Wilson have been mentioned. However, Wilson will become a free agent in July, so it is a likely target. But Jamie Vardy knows Wrexham. He's played there before, and I don't think he'll want to drop down beyond the Championship. So I think if they could bring him in with the Ryan Reynolds links, that will be really good for them. Right, so that's it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you think, if you're a Championship fan, who do you think your team should sign this summer? Drop a like if you did enjoy, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. I'll see you next week.